Welcome back to the study of Mr. H with our channel Industry and Academia. We're going to be continuing on from our previous lecture, and in case you didn't get it, we'll go over our reference, which is Compensation. It's an ebook, 14th edition by Barry Gerhart by McGraw-Hill Publishing Company. Okay. So we're going to move into the Fair Labor Standards Act of 1938, overtime and hours of work. It's our second category. The overtime provision of the FLSA requires payment at 1.5 times the standard for working more than 40 hours. One objective is to make hiring less costly than paying overtime. State laws sometimes go beyond the FSLA. Strict criteria must be met in order for jobs to be exempt. Another issue, when the workday begins and ends. That's something else that the FLSA really looks into. Time is very important. The text will tell you that money, compensation, but I ultimately think time is one of the most important variables. People care about it. The more time off they have, quality of life, it really matters, especially now dealing with a newer generation of employee. We want a work-life balance. We care about that. We want family time. So this is a real big, this FLSA Act is a tremendous part of HR. Okay. OSHA specifies the number of breaks in an 8-hour workday. So you're supposed to get a break. Some employers, I've had past employers, and for legal reasons, I wouldn't say their name on this particular video, but in my hostile workplace environment, I will be mentioning names. So you can believe that. But for the purposes of this video, I will not be mentioning any previous employers that I am sure that I know violated the 8-hour workday. A related area of concern is the donning and doffing. So donning and doffing is basically stealing time. Again, that's people that sit in the bathroom, sit on the john, and go scroll through their phones. Watching reels on silent. That's your people. Back in the day, they'd have a magazine sitting in the toilet. Now they're on the cell phones. You know what I mean? Same thing. Hanging out at the water cooler. Hanging out at reception. We watch The Office. Jim hanging out at reception. All he's doing is doffing and donning. Okay? Next, a 2000 amendment to the FLSA allows stock options and bonuses to be exempt from inclusion in overtime pay calculations. Federal legislation has been proposed to give employees and employers the option of trading overtime pay for time off. So again, time off, that's smart. That's a big thing. A lot of people care about it. Okay, so next we're going to move into the third category, which is child labor. My drawings aren't great, but I put these here maybe to help make them stand out so you remember these 3 points. We got the little girlie with her dolly. My drawing, I'm not a great illustrator. One day we will grow to have our own illustration and magnificent library, and we'll be doing these videos in academia. But for now, we're in my study and you get my stick figure drawings. Okay. So, Fair Labor Standards Act of 1938 Child Labor Law provision. Persons under 18 cannot work in hazardous jobs such as meatpacking and logging. Persons under 16 cannot be employed in jobs involving interstate commerce except for non-hazardous work for a parent or guardian. So they're very strict about that. Additional exceptions and limitations also exist. Unions have taken a leading role in publicizing the extent of the use of child labor outside the U.S. to produce goods destined for the U.S. consumers. And you see a lot of that made in America. That is one way that unions are able to guarantee that child slave labor wasn't used. in the manufacturing of products. You don't want to support that. You don't want to support kidnapped children forced into slavery, people in marginalized spaces forced into slavery to manufacture. Okay? And the last section, which is actually an alternative approach, is called living wage. So, hold on. Let me add that to our... Okay. Living wage. Rather than push for change in the FLSA, an alternative approach has been to push for a living wage at local levels. Sometimes they cover only base wages. More frequently, they require health insurance, vacation, sick pay, job security, and provide incentives to unionize. Maryland was the first to adopt a living wage ordinance in 2009. More than 100 ordinances have been put into effect in the U.S. by cities, counties, universities, and other public entities. Companies, too, can implement a living wage. Living wage laws are increasingly popular. Okay. So that will conclude our FLSA major provisions. Our next video, we will touch on to prevailing wage, and then we will move on to pay equity and the Equal Pay Act. All right, that's the end. If you got any questions or comments, or have any statements, anything, obviously positive, constructive conversation is always welcome. Please leave it in the comments. Reach out to me. We're interested in growing, and we love to have discussion. Thank you.